On February 7th, an order was issued by the Ministry of Minority Affairs. It read, Maulana Azad Education Foundation is instructed to carry out the closure process at the earliest. Why? It mentioned no explanation. This abrupt decision didn't make it to the mainstream headlines, but it should have, since it is a big deal. And here's why. Maulana Azad Education Foundation is a non-profit organization which was set up in 1989 to promote education amongst educationally backward minorities in particular and other weaker sections in general. Its schemes benefited the 6 notified minority groups, namely Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Parsis and Jains. Throughout the years, the foundation has been doing its job pretty well. It is a fact verified by many evaluation studies. For example, a 2007 study by the Organization Research Group commented positively on its scheme's impact, and a 2010 Indian Social Institute study concluded that the foundation was playing an exemplary role in promoting education and its schemes were highly relevant with visible impact on target groups. Even a 2013 press release by the Ministry of Minority Affairs itself acknowledged these positive findings. And in its annual report for the year 2018-19, the effectiveness of its schemes was highlighted, including grants in aid to NGOs, Begum Hazrat Mahal National Scholarship and Nai Manzil Bridge course, which offered a 1-year course equivalent to intermediate studies for madrasa students and school dropouts. Ministry of Minority Affairs data reveals that up to 8th September 2016, 1548 NGOs received nearly 200 crore under the grant and aid scheme, while 2,30,744 girls were awarded Begum Hazrat Mahal scholarships totaling nearly 275 crores. The Economic Times reported that 1,15,000 girls received these scholarships in 2017-18, with an allotment of around 78 crores. Begum Hazrat Mahal National Scholarship was the first national scholarship for meritorious minority girls to pursue higher secondary education. Also, in 2017, the foundation started the Garib Nawaz employment scheme to provide short-term, job-oriented skill development courses to minorities youth, especially school dropouts, to improve their employability. The then Minority Affairs Minister informed the Parliament in 2021 that 371 training centers under the scheme were opened nationwide. He claimed the scheme ensured 70% employment. Despite all these glad tidings, the union government seemed to have some other plans up its sleeves. For instance, even though the Ministry of Minority Affairs got a bigger boost in the 2022-23 union budget, the foundation's funding was slashed by a whopping 99% compared to the previous year. And over 1,000 minority girls in Gujarat were denied the Begum Hazrat Mahal scholarship for the academic year 2021-22 due to pending verification from the district's nodal officers. Also, in June 2021, journalist Afroz Alam Sahil reported about the underutilization of the foundation's funds. RTI data has revealed that despite consecutive budgets of 125 crore, 90 crore and of 82 crores, spending only reached 36 crore, 37.5 crore and 63.5 crore respectively. And in December 2022, the Maulana Azad National Fellowship, which supported students pursuing MPhil and PhD degrees, was also discontinued. Similarly, the pre-matric scholarship scheme for classes 1 to 8 was abruptly cancelled, now limited to just classes 9 and 10. Additionally, the Padho Pradesh Interest Subsidy Scheme, aiding minority students with education loan interest subsidies for overseas studies, was also discontinued.
मोदी सरकार या उससे पहले ही बीजेपी जो है इन सब चीज़ों के मुखालिफ थी कि ये गलत है और ये तुष्टीकरण हो रहा है, ये सब पहले से मुखालिफ थी। आने के बाद इन्होंने फ़ौरन तो ख़त्म नहीं किया, लेकिन धीरे धीरे ख़त्म करना शुरू किया। इस तरह के इन सारी स्कीमों का, यही नहीं बल्कि और बहुत सी स्कीमें हैं, सबके इन्होंने धीरे धीरे बजट घटाने शुरू कर दिए।
All these moves lay bare the so-called abruptness of the foundation's closure. The decision is detrimental to achieving the inclusive education in India.
बगैर तालीम को कोई कौम नहीं आगे बढ़ती। तालीम जो है उनको चाहिए। अब मुसलमान मोहल्ले के अंदर जो है पुलिस स्टेशन बनता है और हिंदू मोहल्ले के अंदर स्कूल बनता है। ये बहुत ही पुरानी बात है ये। तो इसका मतलब क्या है? मतलब ये है कि आप चाहते नहीं, आपको जो है कुछ लोगों को डरा के रखना है और कुछ लोगों को आगे बढ़ाना है।
And it is the Muslim community that will disproportionately bear its burden. there are stark statistics that unveil this troubling reality. The 2006 Sachar Committee report is all out there. Also, the 2011 census disclosed that literacy rates within the Muslim community were the lowest among all minority groups, and it was the only minority group staggering behind the national average. In 2017, the foundation itself reported that among all the minorities, Muslims were educationally the most disadvantaged community in India. This was evident by the community's significantly lower literacy and enrollment rates compared to the national average. 2. Larger gap in educational attainment compared to other communities. 3. Limited access to quality education and higher dropout rates. It also noted that besides economic reasons, low accessibility to educational institutions was a major cause for the community's backwardness. Adding to this setback is the condition of Muslim-affiliated higher education. Our recent 2023 study with the Center for Study and Research highlights this. Let's look at its key findings. Number 1. Muslims manage only 2.1% of universities and 2.6% of colleges. This reveals a gap in educational infrastructure considering their demographic presence. Number 2. Muslims have disproportionately low access to technical colleges compared to other minority groups. Number 3. There are notable differences in educational access at the regional level. And number 4. The predominance of smaller colleges with limited enrollments, which mainly offer undergraduate programs, restrain opportunities for the community. While other struggling communities are witnessing improvements in educational access, the situation remains dire for Muslims. The latest All India Survey of Higher Education 2020-21 highlighted this contrasting trend. It revealed that while enrollment for Dalits, Adivasis and OBCs increased by 4.2%, 11.9% and 4% respectively, Muslim student enrollment saw a troubling 8% decrease compared to the previous year. The Maulana Azad Education Foundation was bridging these educational reach and outcome gaps.
इन्होंने ये सोच रखा है कि मुसलमानों के लिए हमको नहीं करना, ये इनकी पॉलिसी है, इसमें वो जो है छुपाते भी नहीं है, बहुत साफ साफ कहते हैं कि भाई हमको नहीं। और अगर आप सही मायने में देखें तो वही चाहते हैं कि मुसलमान हिंदुस्तान में सेकंड क्लास शहरी हो जाए और कोई मुतालबा न करे।
And now, with it being ordered to shut down, coupled with the discontinuation of scholarships, fund cuts and rising educational disparities, the Muslim community is being pushed to the absolute back in the goal of inclusive education for all.